Hi guys, Luton here and welcome to my first video on Arma 3. Now since I got the PC set up, I've been experimenting with this game, getting used to a lot of the features in this game and generally trying to understand and get to grips with the mechanics of it. Now as a beginner there is a hell of a lot that you need to understand and take in before you can really operate properly within the multiplayer aspect of the game, and especially if you want to operate in a much more tactical, realistic way, which is what a lot of people get to this game for. First of all, I think though you would agree that the game looks astonishingly gorgeous. It really does. And as I say, I'm going to cover a lot of things in future videos. We'll look around, explore the world, but this first video is going to be looking at the sniper. Now, the sniper is a good one to come at first, mainly because a lot of people enjoy the sniper role, but the other thing is that understanding the way in which the sniper works actually helps you to understand how the kind of functionality of other weapons work. And that's to do with the physics drop-off and range finding features. Now, as with generally any sniper, obviously you've got your default scope range, but the other great thing about this is that if you look on top of the scope right here, you can see that little reticule right there up on the top, and that is actually an iron sight, and you can switch between that just by holding Control and then right-clicking your mouse button. So right here we're zoomed in, and then we go to the iron sights, and this is obviously great if you're, for example, sniping into the town, and then you realise there's a couple of guys coming on the hill to your left. You can just change out and engage them. So it's a really great tool for, that kind of flexible functionality. Now, the other thing to note as well, as with any kind of sniper role, is camouflage. Now, I just want to touch on this briefly. We'll talk about it better in other videos, but I just wanted to very quickly say, you'll notice how we're wearing a ghillie suit, unlike, for example, Battlefield 3. And again, notice how when you sort of move into cover, you become very, very invisible, and it's much more difficult to see you than perhaps in other titles. Notably, for example, Battlefield 3. It's not to say that Battlefield 3 is not a great game, but it just means that the camouflage aspect, a lot of people are always saying about, what to wear, etc. Honestly, doesn't matter in that game, but in this game, it really does matter a lot. And for example, again, if you were to go prone, it's going to have an even more significant sort of impact on how you look and how visible you are as a sniper. In fact, I can barely even see myself right here. There we go. But again, it depends a little bit on where you are. We're in full sunshine right here, which is not a great thing. If we were in a shadow, it would be a lot more beneficial. Anyway, so let's move to the tower and we can talk a little bit more about how to actually engage targets. Something else to note with Arma though is that your character will actually regularly get out of breath. Now we know that in other titles, for example like with Battlefield, you can only run for certain distances, but the breathing actually affects things like your firing, and also you can be heard. I'm going to get up here. Something to point out, you kind of have this crazy climbing. Look at the guy go. He's I'm amazed that this animation is actually how you climb ladders, but apparently this is how you climb ladders. He obviously is maybe he's a bit nervous of heights, and he just super wants to get up here real fast, but whatever. Okay, so now we're up here on the tower. This is going to give us good range to engage our targets at. But something else to note, okay. The sway of your weapon is very significant, but it's actually very, very affected by your stance. So right now we're standing, okay, and I'm going to change over to the binoculars as it best illustrates this. Now I'm not touching the mouse right now. This is the default sway, okay. So you can see the default sway, it's moving around a fair bit. Now if we go crouching, look how much that changes. It goes down a significant amount, and if we go down to prone, it's almost non-existent. And then just to kind of illustrate the point, okay, standing again, you can see how that's moving around. Now if I'm zooming in to actually take a reading, now let's try this AC unit right here. Look, I'm trying to compensate that, but look, you just can't, and then he's run out of breath, okay, so you really can't handle it. Whereas in prone right here, you can see nice and steady. Exactly what we want to be able to take a reading. So the difference between prone, standing and crouch is quite significant when it comes to this sway. But now we've got to find some targets. And I have preset a couple of targets. We'll look around right here, we'll find these targets, and you should be able to see right here, if we move forward a little bit perhaps. Here we go. Now you might see up here on the hill, hello, We've got a little man up here. But this makes another point actually about sort of ridgeline visibility. And you'll notice that when we're looking on this ridgeline, we're looking for sort of obviously anything that stands out, anything that stands out as a silhouette. This guy right here, he's so high up on the ridgeline, he stands out as a silhouette extremely well. If he wanted to be actually moving around, it'd be much better to come across this line, operate below the ridgeline. He may still be visible, but he's definitely not going to stand out like a sore thumb like he is right now. Now also, with this, you can see on the right hand side, that's your laser rangefinder, okay? You can see if we point it to the sky, it's not giving us anything because it's just the laser's flying off into the distance. If we actually point it at a target that we want to engage though, like for example our man up on the hill, and that's coming back at 768 meters. Now what does that mean for us? Well, if we change back to the gun, and that's just the B key there to switch between the binoculars and the actual gun itself. Now looking up here on the right hand side, you can see at the bottom left there it says 500 meters. And what that's telling you is your weapon calibration for range. Now obviously he was coming in at 768. That's not a whole number, so we're going to have to round up, and obviously we're going to round up to 800. And I can adjust the calibration here by just clicking the page up and page down keys. So now, and we've still got our iron sights, so now when we're aiming at this guy up here on the hill, when we can locate where he is, I think he's over here on the left hand side. We need to move a little bit. There he is. Okay, so now we're operating at a range of 800 meters. So that red dot there in the center of the reticule, that is set to 800. Now here's obviously 768. He's a little bit, he's a little bit further down. This is kind of high. Okay, now it's probably not going to make a significant difference at this range, but basically we're going to want to aim around about the middle of the torso by the hands there to compensate for the fact that it's running a little bit high. So let's try and engage this target right here and see if we can hit him. Okay, and that's a kill. He's down. Okay, so now we're ready to engage this second target. We're going to take another reading from him, and he's coming in at 897 on our rangefinder. So now we're going to change back to the sniper rifle, just change back with the B key again, and we're going to be ready to engage. Now we've set up to 900 meters here on the calibration, but again, your optic is set, so I can't zoom in any more than this. So you're still reliant on being able to actually accurately line up that target and hit it, even though your calibration is correct. So we're going to want to take a breath and hopefully hit this guy dead on again about the chest right here. There we go. And that's a kill again. He's down. It's going to reload right here. Well, actually didn't need to reload right there, but never mind. Anyway. Right, let's move on to our final target. And this target is going to be considerably more difficult. I hope I can hit this guy because he's at quite long range. Now we're looking over here towards the airfield. Oh, and I've managed to actually find him straight away. I had to look around before. Here he is. He's coming back on us at 1390. Something to point out as well, when you're operating at these very long ranges for range finding, you want to be very careful that you're actually giving back a correct reading, because if you don't, now look, I'm aiming at him, but look at the reading. See how it just goes to 1600? That's because the laser, if it goes even ever so slightly off of him, there we go. See, it's coming back 1600. His reading is actually 1390, but it's reading the C in the background because it's just swaying off of him ever so slightly. If you get your calibration wrong at these ranges, it's going to make a significant impact on how you actually hit your target. So we're going to set up to not 1600 after all I was saying right there. We're actually going to set to 1400, obviously round up the 10 there to 1400. Now then, this is going to be a damn tricky shot. So let's need to move a little bit as well. There we go. Actually, while I'm here, just to point out as well, this is another feature, okay? You can actually use your Q and E keys to roll, and that's a really good way of obviously avoiding necessary. If you want to quickly avoid like sniper fire, you can just keep rolling, get out of the way. And it's a really good good feature. Now then, we're set to the correct calibration. Are we going to hit this guy? I don't know. Let's see. Okay, take a breath. I'm not happy with that. You can this is the default sway, okay? I'm not holding the mouse right now. You can see how significant that is at this range. Obviously, if we were aiming slightly closer, it's really, it doesn't make a big difference because you have a sort of, you know, a closer ratio of area. All right, so even with the sway, it wouldn't matter. But at this kind of range, it's significant. Got to find our target again. He's here. Okay, let's try and engage this guy. It's a kill. Yes. One hit, one kill. Right. There we go, guys. That's the end of my little sniper tutorial right here, showing you how to engage targets. If you've got any questions, please put them below. I want to point out something else. There is a bipod you will notice on this gun. Okay, actually, so I'm going back right here. Okay, yeah, you would notice there is actually a bipod on the weapon itself. You can see right here, there's a couple of weapons that actually have bipods in Arma. Now, currently, those are not, you can see there it is, the bipod on the front of the weapon. Now currently you can't actually use these bipods, which seems kind of stupid, but remember we're still in the beta, okay, and you know it's possible and likely that these will change, but also bear in mind that Arma has a very strong modding community, and within Arma 2 there was a mod, a very well-known mod, that was able to deploy bipods and other functionality for snipers. So if it isn't put into the final game itself, it's very likely there will be a feature for bipod deployment. Although it seems, you know, I can only imagine that they definitely will have it into the game, because it seems like a bit of a silly thing for them to not include that into the game itself. There's already a lot of discussion and topics about that within the Arma community forums and so on and so on. So I am sure that the devs are well aware of it, and it's something they'll definitely be putting into the game. So thanks for watching this video today, guys. Hope you've enjoyed my first little venture into Arma 3, covering just some of the basics there of sniping. I'll be covering up with some more videos this week about Arma 3, different things as I said. But bear in mind, it's all going to be beginner stuff, because there's going to be people coming into this game new. If you want to come and join us within Arma 3, it'd be excellent to have more tactical players into the game. And I look forward to playing with some of you when the full release of this game is out, or even in the beta up to that point. Thanks for watching, guys. See you next time. If you enjoyed this video, as always, drop it a like, and I'll see you next time for some more Arma 3 tactics.